like to talk about something that is absolutely vital for human life. Without it, we would quickly become dehydrated, and life in our region would likely be miserable. I'm talking about pipes. Pipes are frankly what make modern life possible. They're all around us, crisscrossing beneath our feet, below houses, below streets, below pretty much everywhere. And because they're often out of sight, it's easy to take them for granted. Which is why for this video, we're taking pipes from the underground to the mainstream and give them the credit that they deserve. Not so long ago, people in cities used the bucket and chuck it system. Then they got smart and invested in pipes to move sewage away and bring water in. Today, we continue to depend on pipes. Anytime you turn on a tap, a pipe delivers fresh water to you. Anytime you flush your toilet, a pipe is there to welcome that waste with open arms, or I guess open tubes. Over 1,000 kilometers of water and sewer pipes in the region are managed by Metro Vancouver. They plan, install, and maintain the big trunk systems, the arteries, if you will. Turns out, it's a never-ending job. It's a huge and hidden network, but right now, we're going to take a look behind the scenes to see what it takes to keep our pipes running smoothly. Because, trust me, you want them to run smoothly. The first step to building a pipe is building a tunnel. What you're seeing here is a tunnel boring machine, which will dig a new water supply tunnel beneath the Fraser River. That tunnel will house the pipes that will eventually be used to serve more water to the growing city of Surrey. But before the machine can dig, it first needs to squeeze down to the bottom of this 50-meter shaft, which was designed to be just a tiny bit larger than the machine itself.
Well, it looked like it barely fit because it did barely fit.
In Metro Vancouver, there's not always a ton of space to go around digging holes. So for this project, the team had to make the shaft opening as small as possible. As the tunnel boring machine inches slowly downwards, a helping hand, or in this case, foot, is needed to ensure it doesn't get stuck.
The machine had maybe about a half meter of clearance all the way around at all the tightest points, if that.
It will take the machine more than a year to tunnel its way below the Fraser River, from Surrey to New Westminster. Then it will take another few years of work to complete the water supply tunnel. If you can't tell already, projects of such a scale take years of planning before construction can even start. And that is why Metro Vancouver needs to constantly look decades ahead at how our region is growing and changing. It needs to study how much population growth to expect and where that growth will happen, or how forces like climate change will impact our infrastructure and water supply. Lucky for us, keeping service systems strong is what Metro Vancouver does, and has done for the past 100 years. Back in the late 1940s, Metro Vancouver built a water supply tunnel far below Burrard Inlet, just east of the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge.
The high-velocity tidal currents at the Second Narrows make this work extremely hazardous.
Today, a larger water supply tunnel and other infrastructure are being built in the same location. It will replace the 3 existing water mains in the Burrard Inlet, which are near the end of their life cycle. This water supply tunnel was started in 2019 and is in final stages of construction. It lies 30 meters below the bottom of the inlet, stretching from North Vancouver to North Burnaby.
So the purpose of the project is to keep up with the growing demand in the region, but also to replace the existing mains. So another purpose of the project is to increase the seismic resiliency of the system to withstand a 1 in 10,000 year earthquake.
Now, our region's pipes carry things other than drinking water too. Yup, it's time to talk about sewage. Right beside the Alex Fraser Bridge are these buildings, which are called trickling filters. Trickling filters help to clean sewage at the Anasis Island wastewater treatment plant. Normally, you wouldn't see workers up here, but they are preparing to lift off the entire domed roof, all 28 metric tons of it in one go. Inside these buildings, wastewater is sprayed onto plastic grids using a rotating distributor, which is basically a poo fountain. Once the sewage is sprayed onto these plastic grids, a slime made up of tiny microorganisms forms around it. These bacteria help filter our wastewater by absorbing and digesting organic waste from the sewage. The roof has to be removed so that those plastic grids can be replaced. And this is a tricky job. Even with most of its panels removed, the roof weighs the same as 30 cars. Good thing this work only needs to be done once every 30 years or so. The responsibility of that task falls on supervisors like David Hoffman, who spent his entire career working in Metro Vancouver's wastewater system.
So we should get anywhere between 35 and 40 years to life before we have to do this again.
That's great news for this worker, who's way up here removing 48 anchor pins from the bottom of the domed roof. The roof can only be lifted safely if the wind is below 9 kilometers an hour. Stronger winds could turn it into a giant wobbling frisbee. Fortunately, the winds remain calm. All of the careful planning and teamwork has paid off. Everyone feels a bit relieved. High-stakes projects like this are a good reminder that our pipe networks aren't just made possible because of steel and concrete, but because of people like David, who care deeply about getting the job done right.
I feel totally responsible for everything that happens at this plant, and I'm fully invested in it.
All that is to say, there is so much work going on behind the scenes by people like David and hundreds of others at Metro Vancouver to make sure that we have the pipes and infrastructure that we need every day. That work might not always be visible, but it's what makes so many important things possible, like turning on a tap, or flushing your toilet, or watering your garden, or playing in a water park. You get the idea.